Hey Cake family, Tiffany Higgins here, and I am live 1:30 p.m. Central Time every day in January. If you want to hop on here, ask me questions, and learn what it's like to start, launch, and scale your bookkeeping business. And specifically, today we are focused on how can you scale your business by specializing in restaurant bookkeeping. So the last 2 days, if you haven't watched, we interviewed 2 of our graduates from our Bookkeeper Academy and Restaurant Mastermind program on their experience specializing in the restaurant industry and all the amazing benefits that you can unlock by becoming a restaurant bookkeeping expert. And today I'm going to have Chris Adams on. She's my business partner and she is the Food Bookkeeper. And Chris knows everything there is to know about doing a really great job and getting more detailed and more specialized reports and bookkeeping for restaurants specifically. So she's going to be here today to talk about what it's been like for her to not only cater to restaurant clients, but to be able to provide so much extra value that you can charge more and they don't ever want to leave. And what it's been like for her to be able to help a bunch of other students do the same thing. Hey, Betty Rose, thanks for being on here. So here in a minute, Chris is going to come on. She's going to tell all of her journey with this so you guys can kind of get an idea of what it's like to be able to specialize in restaurants yourself. So if you're watching and you have any questions on what it's like to specialize and niche down in the restaurant industry, drop those in the comments below. And as you guys have heard, talking with Jen and Nicole in my previous lives the last few days, that you can make a lot more money with restaurants and have a lot less clients than you would just being a generalist bookkeeper. So if the restaurant industry piques your interest, then this would be a really, really good opportunity for you to be able to scale your business and learn the ins and outs of the restaurant industry specifically, and then also get help from Chris and everyone in the Restaurant Mastermind to build your team of inexpensive bookkeepers in the Philippines that are very knowledgeable of the restaurant industry as well. So you can have help as you do the work. So Chris, once you get here, just request to join and I'll pull you up on this. And if you have any trouble, if we have any technical difficulties, we'll move this to Zoom and then we'll just drop the Zoom link in here. But I think we should be okay to get this going. So here in a minute, Chris will be here and I'll pull her up and we'll talk about it. So some of the highlights over the last couple of days for, okay, let's see, Chris, let me see if I can find you. Let's see. People, okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, sending you an invite, Chris. And so I think it should be adding you here now. So Chris is about to come on. There we go. Hi.
Oh.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
I could hear you talking. I just needed to ask to join.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad it worked. Let me turn up my volume. I have to do that for some reason. Okay. So thank you so much for being on here today.
Of course. I'm so excited that we can launch this again to all of the Academy. Yes. Whoever wants to join us.
Yeah. Absolutely. And everyone got to hear a lot the last couple of days from Jen Beckwith and Nicole Vargas. And of course, they've just been speaking your praises about how much that you have taught them in the Restaurant Mastermind about providing so much extra value to restaurants and learning all the ins and outs. And it's just been such a game changer for them to be able to, offer so many things to their clients. But then the second their clients have a question, if they don't know, then they can just come right to you and ask.
That's the cool part. Yep. Nobody's alone.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love to just start from the beginning. You want to tell everybody watching a little bit about your background and how you got started into the restaurant industry and then how that transition, put you as the food bookkeeper?
Yeah, sure. So hello, everyone. I am Chris Adams. I am in New Hampshire right now. The last couple of winters, I have gone down to Florida, and that's the beauty of owning a business like this, that, as long as you don't have kids in school, you have the ability to, unless you homeschool, but you have the ability to travel anywhere with your business. So that is one of the key perks about it. But to go back, I started a catering company a while ago, and actually grew that for 12 years. And in that time, I actually had loved the food that was next door to my storefront at this pizza place, found out that it was for sale. And so I ended up running and owning the pizza place that was next door as well. And so I ran them completely separate, two different LLCs. And life just got too crazy. I have 3 active kids, and I ended up getting an offer for one of the businesses. So I ended up selling that, and then decided to sell the other business as well. So after 12 years, decided, what did I like about owning those businesses? And what I liked, I am a numbers girl. I have a business math degree from college, and I liked knowing my numbers. I liked figuring out what my profitability was, where I can increase things, decrease things to really make and run 2 very successful businesses. Now, most restaurant owners don't say that, and that is why most restaurants need our services. They aren't looking to do their own books, and they're not looking to even figure out what their numbers are. So that is why I think it's really cool to have this niche of clients in the food and beverage industry. They're so busy that they don't have time to be doing their books. And that is one way in this mastermind that we can help you really grow your business, is by finding those restaurants that need our help. So that's where I am. I've now owned this bookkeeping agency for the last 8 years, and it's called the Food Bookkeeper. So I would love to connect with anybody that would like to connect via Instagram. That's where we're most active. And that's where we are today. I now run a whole team. There's a few that are in the US. I have a whole team in the Philippines. And I'm now doing the sales and marketing for my company, while others are doing the bookkeeping. So that is one thing that I teach, is how to grow the business, how to create that team. And then if your ultimate goal is to kind of get out of the bookkeeping and do the sales and marketing as well, I show you how that can be done. Yeah. So that's kind of how it started and where we are today.
Yeah, awesome. So excited about that. And yeah, there's so many cool things that Chris can teach you in this restaurant mastermind. Of course, all of the amazing skills that you'll need for restaurants specifically, but then be able to teach your team how to do that, how to hire the team to do it as well, and be able to scale in that particular niche with your marketing. So yeah, that's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about what it's like working with a restaurant owner? Like, what are the perks and benefits of niching down in this industry?
Well, the biggest perk is there are restaurants everywhere. Yeah. So you are not going to have trouble finding a restaurant. The biggest key is finding a restaurant that needs a bookkeeper. But just even today at lunchtime, I was at Playa Bowl. I don't know if you guys have that anywhere in the US. And I started talking to the cashier. I had placed my order, and then I just asked, do you have a bookkeeper? Do you need a bookkeeper? That sort of thing. So that's one way that we talk about, walking into a restaurant or to a business in the food and beverage industry and asking point blank, do they need a bookkeeper? They actually did. So I left them my business card. So that's just one way that we talk about networking and walking into a facility in the mastermind. But the key with the restaurants is that they have such a slim profit margin. That's the problem with restaurants. And so they have to have accurate numbers. So that is one way that you can kind of build your credibility when you are speaking with a restaurant owner. And then you can talk about your knowledge with being niching down into restaurants. You understand how important it is to record the sales correctly. You understand that payroll is the biggest expense for a restaurant normally, and you need to be so really perfect with entering the numbers and making sure it is as accurate as possible. So that's just one of the advantages that you can talk about when you're talking to a restaurant.
Yeah, I love that. I was going to bring that up too, that restaurants typically have such a slim profit margin that they don't have a whole lot of room for error. You know,
Right.
so like in our bookkeeping business, we have huge profit margins,
Right.
especially before you start building a team. And so if you know, overpay your staff, or, you know, you get a couple software programs that maybe you don't need, it's not going to break the bank. But in a restaurant, if you mess up your expenses, or you're not pricing your dishes correctly, you know, or you have a lot of inventory food spoilage that you're not paying attention to, that can really wreck all of their profit so fast. So having all of the detail in the numbers that they can review on a timely, you know, monthly basis,
Right.
is going to be key to them being able to stay in business even.
Right. And that's one of those are the things that you're going to learn in the mastermind, is how to talk to these restaurant owners and show your expertise. So you could ask them, are they accounting for their food spoilage for the restaurant, and how do you actually record that in QuickBooks? So that's just one of the things that we would be covering in the mastermind.
Yeah, love that. I love that. That's awesome. So as far as like fees go, where do you see, like in our Bookkeeper Academy, when we teach people how to get bookkeeping clients, just general clients, the average fee is usually around $500 a month, with the minimum being about $300. So what do you see across the board with your clients, and then the restaurant clients that all the students in the mastermind have been able to pick up? What is that minimum and maybe average fee that you're seeing?
Yeah. So I have, that's the cool part with restaurants. You can charge more. So that's one of the things that we want to do as soon as you get into the mastermind, is we want to help you get clients to help pay for your monthly expense. So on average, my restaurant clients are $1,000 per month. My minimum is $500, and that's more for like this pliable, where it's just no liquor, it's counter help, and there's not even much tips and that sort of thing. So that would be my very minimum is $500. But I have a client that's $69.50 a month. You know, it depends on, I kind of do it based on revenue, but the average I looked at is about $1,000, and I just hit my first $50,000 month in December. So that's why I had just looked at that. So that is my average. And now we are actually starting with CFO services and that sort of thing. So that can add to the monthly price moving forward as well.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to transition into CFO services when you're already doing so many extra things for the restaurant. So it's a really easy like upsell, next level. And when you said $69.50, you mean like $7,000 a month? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. And so you're able to charge, you know, that much for a client, but then your team is fulfilling.
Exactly. Yeah. So that, and I won't say that is a normal occurrence, but that is a restaurant that had contacted me that had, I think, was it 7 different locations? And so we grouped the package to $69.50 a month. So it was a really good lead that had come in. Yeah. And that was right from my email marketing. And we show that how to do that as well in the mastermind.
Yeah. Because when Chris and I first started working together, I helped her set up some email campaigns and get that going. And then now Chris teaches that in the restaurant mastermind. And I remember you had some really fast success with that email marketing campaign.
Yeah. From the email marketing campaign, we've had a couple different franchises that have asked me, and I have become the preferred vendor for a few of the franchises. So that has, easy, easy way to get more clients. And just as they're opening up more locations, that of course is increasing my client list,
Yeah.
the number of clients. So the email is really, really fortunate to have that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. We were talking about that with Jen and Nicole about how, I knew you got a couple of leads that were franchises, and that can turn into, it's not just like a one-off restaurant. It can turn into a lot of business, because if you become the preferred vendor, then other franchisees will want to use you for bookkeeping, and then new ones will want to use you. And so it can be a really amazing
Opportunity,
way to,
right?
yeah.
And the reason why I was attractive to these people was because I niched down in the restaurant space. So they knew that I have the restaurant knowledge that they were looking for in a bookkeeper.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when they're looking for bookkeeping in general, they don't want to have to teach someone how to do something.
Exactly.
So when you think about the extra stuff that you can get from a restaurant bookkeeper that they know they don't have to, teach or keep their fingers crossed that their bookkeeper is going to know how to do the restaurant industry specifically, they know that you will,
Right.
because that's what you're specializing in, and that's how you're presenting yourself to them too.
Right. Right. When you're talking to a restaurant owner, you want to show your expertise, as I've continually said. You want to show them that you know how to process the monthly sales tax that you need to compute for restaurants, that you know how to record the inventory, if they're using an inventory system or if they're actually not using any type of a system and they're recording things as expenses, that sort of thing. But we show you how to create those journal entries. We show you, there's different POS systems that everyone uses. There's a few that are common, but we create in the mastermind a template for you. And so you know how to record each sales journal entry depending on what POS system you're using. And we do that for the payroll system as well. So we will create a template for the payroll journal entry that you should be recording using the tips, if there's discounts or refunds. Third-party deliveries are so common now with restaurants, Uber Eats, DoorDash. We show you how to record those transactions using clearing accounts and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I will have to say, I probably need to get in there and get some coaching myself, because as you guys know, I've partnered with Kaylee Douglas. She's our first bookkeeper to hit $1 million in her bookkeeping business, and her and I are partnered in her company now. And she does have a few restaurants that we do extra stuff for. And so part of my role right now in her company is to help review everything for the year and get the financials out the door and the 1099s, right? And I will say I've spent a significant amount of time trying to figure out these journal entries by myself. So having somebody that can just say, yeah, I've done this. Well, Chris has clients that pay her $50,000 a month. So she's done this a lot, and to have somebody say, well, this is exactly how you should do the journal entry. That is priceless.
Right. And so if you're part of the mastermind, you have the opportunity every single week to ask questions and to get that type of a template and that sort of thing. So you're never by yourself when you're growing your business. Each, just to add some more things to what you get in the mastermind if you want, but each Sunday night, you'll receive 5 social media posts that I post right in the Facebook group that you can, change them up or edit them to more your wording, but they're right there if you just wanted to copy and paste them. And then every Monday, you will receive an email that you can, again, make it sound like you, but it helps you just kind of continue to grow your business by having those sent to you every week.
Awesome. Yeah. So lots of done for you marketing material that you can use to get out there and get some clients. And I know that's come in very handy for Jen and Nicole and everyone else in the
Yeah,
Restaurant Mastermind, but specifically Jen and Nicole mentioned how, you know, they've been able to grow their restaurant client base mostly from just online, because Jen or Nicole, I know for sure, isn't really able to get out and leave her
right,
kids too much. So yeah,
right,
so that's really awesome to have that extra
right,
added marketing materials.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Yeah. So if anybody's watching and you have any questions for Chris, make sure you drop them in the chat. And of course, she's going to be back a bunch between now and January 31st when our restaurant mastermind enrollment is closing. So you guys want to make sure you book your call. I'll drop the link in here in a minute. Book your call so you can get all of your questions answered and we can get you enrolled before the doors close on this, so you can really hit all your 2025 goals with niching down in the restaurant space this year.
Yeah, it's perfect time.
Yeah.
It just is perfect time to really grow the business for 2025.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything else that you want to make sure everybody's aware of today? I know you're going to be back a bunch in the next couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
anything you want to leave them with?
I'll just touch upon a few other things that we cover in the mastermind, and then later in the month, if that draws up some more questions, we certainly are here to answer any questions you may have. So not only do we help you with the restaurant specific bookkeeping piece of it, we will help you grow your team if that's what you want to do. We help you, show you how I onboard a client. I help you with pricing. That's a big one for a lot of the people. You can either put it right in the Facebook group, because that's kind of where we have a lot of our discussions, or you can email me privately and say, this is what I have. I have a prospect. They make $750,000 a year. You know, they have this POS system, this payroll. This is how they're set up. How would you quote it? And we can help with that as well. I have brought on some experts in the last couple launches. We have brought on someone from Margin Edge. We've brought on 2 restaurant consultants that just kind of talk about what they see in the restaurant space. I've brought on a member of my own Philippines team so that she could talk to the members in the mastermind on what it's like to work with someone, you know, in the US and what type of tasks they do. So it's a really cool kind of experience to be in the mastermind, because it really helps you. It alleviates costly mistakes that you could be making if you were all on your own, and it really accelerates your growth. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today, and we will be on later in the month as well as we go.
And you made me think of 2 different things. The first thing that came to mind is learning and collaborating with all of these people that you're bringing in is going to give you so much knowledge about the industry that you could then provide, you know, additional support and information to your clients. But the cool thing is, when you're learning that stuff now, it's going to be something that's applicable to everyone.
Yes.
So for example, the downside to being a generalist bookkeeper, which, you know, I typically have been most of my journey, but the downside is you have to learn about every different business, every different industry, the ins and outs, the nuances, the why are they doing it this way and why is this person doing it this way? And you can't necessarily streamline any of your clients or the time that you have in learning these extra, you know, additional things that could help your clients. Like, I love to help my clients from lots of different, you know, avenues, even if it's I can give them marketing tips or even just how to run your business better. And it's hard to do when you've got clients that are all over the board. But with niching down in restaurants and then learning so much about running a restaurant, from the financial aspect of it, but also helping them in other areas. Like Nicole said, she met someone that was a restaurant insurance specialist, you know, and being able to provide extra value to your clients because of those connections and those things that you're learning is pretty cool. And it really helps you take the time that you have that you want to invest in your business and put it towards something that's going to help all of your clients.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing that stood out to me too that I wanted to point out to everyone as well is, like, when you're thinking about doing something like this and having a mentor, you should always be looking at number one, does my mentor have the things that I want and you know, have accomplished the things that I'm looking to accomplish? So, you know, if you want a restaurant specific bookkeeping business that you're making 30, 40, $50,000 a month and your team is running, obviously Chris is that person that's going to be able to help you get there. So that box is checked. The other thing that I wanted to share with everybody is that it's important that, you know, the mentor that you have is also always learning and leveling up themselves, because then you can keep along that journey, you know. I feel like that's what I've been able to do for people in my inner circle, like Kaylee Douglas and stuff. And I know that you're doing that. And Chris has specifically been working with Alex Hermosi and in his program to learn how to get to the next level and all the other ways you can streamline. So the cool thing about that is that everything that, you know, we're learning as mentors, we can also trickle that down to our students, so they'll be able to learn that in our programs as well.
Yeah, that is one thing that I do, is I just share with you exactly how I was able to grow my business. So now I've reached the 50,000 mark. I'm actually at the January 31st closing on another bookkeeping business. So I'm doubling my revenue to $1 million. But that is the way I've wanted to grow my business. So I'm just going to share that with you. If that's something that, you know, has your sights set in the next couple of years, we can talk about that. But I'm very involved in my business. And so that's the cool part, is I can just share with you exactly what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and the steps that I took to get there.
And what works and what doesn't work. So that way everyone can avoid, you know, recreating the wheel, because that's frustrating. And those little things that we do when we don't really know what the next step is or the clear path, it wastes time and causes frustration, and it holds us back from reaching our goals. It holds us back from earning our earning potential. And so being in these masterminds can really help just jump over all that frustration. And
absolutely. And just having the mentor and me, and then the other people in the mastermind, we're all like-minded. So that's the cool part. You're not going to find that you're not fitting in. We're all in the same space and we're all growing the business, but there's plenty around. There's restaurants everywhere. So there's plenty of clients for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a really fun one to go find. I mean, we were just talking yesterday too about, you know, you can go out to lunch with your kids or your spouse and write that off as a meal expense for your business, talk business, and try to talk to the owner while you're there. And
just like what I did at lunch today.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on here. And I'm excited to have you on. We'll have you on more throughout the month. And that way, as questions come in, we can address things and have new topics every day. So you guys make sure you join. We're going to be here. I'll be here at 1:30 p.m. Central Time every day for the rest of January. Chris is going to come on any day that she can. And so we will let you guys go for today. But if you watch this, type in #replay and type your questions in the chat, and then we will answer them.
Sure will. Thank you so much for letting me join.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day.